All right, this module is focused entirely on visualization, which means how do we take our data and turn it into something visual or graphical, like let's say a pie chart or a bar graph or a line graph. So Pandas integrates seamlessly with a library called Matplotlib. In fact, it's kind of the de facto standard for these basic plots and charts and graphs. In fact, so popular that Pandas is integrated directly with it. There are methods within Pandas that communicate with this library and use it in order to form the renderings that we're going to see throughout this module. So this course is focused entirely on Pandas, so I don't want to spend too much time diving into the nitty-gritty details of Matplotlib, things like the aesthetics and all of the options for modifying the fonts and the font sizes and the legends. So in this module, I'm just going to be showing you a bird's eye picture, a quick overview of some of the charts and graphs that we can generate. And then if you're interested in exploring visualization in much greater detail, you can look into the official Matplotlib documentation. So let's go ahead and create a brand new Jupyter Notebook. So I'm going to click New and select my Python Conda root option. And of course, we have to begin by giving our Jupyter Notebook a name. So let's call this one Visualization. And afterwards, I'm going to hold the B key to create some cells below for us to work with. And we'll conclude this lesson with our import code. So let's scroll to the top here, and of course we have to begin with my import pandas as PD statement. And throughout these lessons we'll also be using a data set that's going to be fetched for us from the Pandas Data Reader library. So I'm once again going to use that from Pandas Data Reader import data code. And of course that imports data directly into our namespace so we don't have to reference it with Pandas Data Reader. As I mentioned, the library that integrates with Pandas to render our plots and charts and graphs is called Matplotlib. So we do need to import it. So I'm going to write import Matplotlib. And we actually only need to import a specific module or a component of this library, and that's called PyPlot. So that's the component of Matplotlib that deals with plotting. So I'm going to write it here. It's separated by a dot that indicates that we're basically one level deep into the library. And the most common alias that's assigned to PyPlot is PLT. So I'm going to use that as keyword and write as PLT. There's actually one additional line that we need to write here to complete the setup process. By default, whenever Matplotlib renders a chart or graph for us, it's going to do it outside of the Jupyter Notebook. And we want everything to be inside or in line. We want it to be such that when we execute code, the output of that cell is going to be that rendering, that chart, or that graph. In order to make that happen, we're going to have to use something called cell magic or line magic. This is actually a feature of Jupyter Notebook, not Matplotlib. So what I'm going to write here is a % and then Matplotlib in line. There's a space between those two words, by the way. Now all this does is configure the settings behind the scenes of our Jupyter Notebook to tell it that we want to render anything from Matplotlib in line, which means within the notebook, within the cells. So once I execute this, we should be all set. Keep in mind that you may get a red warning message. There I see it, and it just says Matplotlib is building the font cache. You can see it's a warning. It doesn't really mean a critical error has occurred. So if you get this kind of message, try just executing the cell a second time. So I'm going to click back into it and press Shift-Enter again. And for me, it always goes away on the second time. I think it just has something to do with warning us that Matplotlib is taking a little bit longer to import because it's building up something that it needs to use on the back end. But as long as you have that successful import sign, which is going to be a number here in the box, that means everything is correct and you're all ready to get started with Matplotlib. So in the next lesson, we'll explore the plot method, which can be called directly on a Pandas data frame or series to plot it. We'll take a look at a very basic plotting chart. So I hope you're excited to dive into a brand new module. This one's going to be a lot more visual, so hopefully a bit more exciting than just drowning in tables and data frames all day. So I hope you're excited, and I'll see you in the very next lesson.